Hey, it's Jason from Bohemia Bees, and we are going to head down to the apiary to check to see how our bees fared after this cold snap. We had last 3 weeks here on the Eastern Shore with frigid temperatures below 30 degrees. Today, it's actually 45 to 50 degrees. The ice and snow is finally melting, and we're going to get down to the apiary and check on our bees to see how they're doing. Okay, so there's still a good snowpack here, 6 to 8 inches of snow. We had a light snow, and then we had ice on top. So it took a while. It's going to take a while for it to melt. It's got to be over 50 degrees for the ice to really get melted. So we'll have a couple days this week that'll do that. So we're going to get down here to the apiary and see what our hives look like. What we're looking for, I'll show you some signs, but it's mainly for clearing it out, getting their dead out, and then for cleansing flights. So let's take a look at some bees, see what we got. Okay, so this is what we want to see. If you can see, the bees are flying up in their clockwise motion into the air. You can watch them. They're doing cleansing flights, and when they cleanse, of course, they poop. And if you look all over the snow out here, which is a great time to see it, you can see all the little yellow marks that's melting the snow. That's all little divots. That's actually their poop melting the snow, because it's warm, of course, comes from their body. And we see a couple of these hives down here are very, very active. Lots of bees flying. There's a few you can see scattered along the dome. This one on the end down here has a lot of bees at the entrance. You can see this one, and we're going to get this one cleared out because there are still bees in there, but it looks like they're trapped in there. So we're going to try to see if we can get them out. They have an upper entrance up here. We want to help clean that bottom entrance out, and we'll show you the tool we're going to use that. Okay, so most people are familiar with the standard hive tool. This is your standard hive tool, and you can use that to clear out the bottom. But Be Smart Designs makes a really neat tool. We did a video on this years back. It's a reach tool with a hook, so it has a scraper on the front of it. Probably not as durable enough to scrape frames, but it does help scrape. But it's nice because it's long. So you can come down here in the front of the hive, and you get underneath, and you can do a quick pull out of all the bees that may be jamming the entrance up. Right? See that? You can reach and clear out all those dead bees for them. And hopefully that gives them enough clearings to get out. Oh, there's a couple coming out. So we got a couple still in here, and there we go, they're coming out. So there's still bees that are good set up in here, and we're gonna see, hopefully we have a lot more alive hives than dead hives. But let's go take a walk down the line, see what we got. Pulling those dead bees out. All right, let's take a peek inside this one right here. All right, here we go. Now these bees, if I grab this hive and I pick it up, oh, it's still heavy with honey. We're gonna still put some resources. We're gonna put a pollen patty, or not pollen patty, but a fondant patty on top of this one. We'll do it to most of them, but this one's good enough because it's a solid amount of bees. We just cleared out their entrance. You see now they're coming at me. So let's go ahead and put a patty on that one. We'll go down the line. Okay, so we use Hive Alive. We showed this in a prior video on how you prep going into winter. But these last few weeks before spring are critical because there's no pollen. There's no flora. There's nothing to feed the bees out here. And it's still a little cold, but on these warm days, they're going to fly, do their cleansing flights. And you need to continue to keep putting that supplement on. Some people use protein as well, so they're going to put their pollen patties on. The only thing I can recommend with pollen patties is if you start feeding pollen patties right now, you're going to have to keep feeding pollen patties. You cannot stop until that pollen flow kicks in heavy, because they're going to start to build that brood's nest up pretty fast, and they're going to need the pollen. And if they don't have it, that brood's nest is going to starve to death. Or the brood that's being generated. So this is Hive Alive. It's great. It has great amino acids in it. It's vitamins and minerals for the bees. It's a fondant, it's a sugar substance. So we just cut open a flap on here. We're going to flip this over that hole we just showed you in that hive. And we're going to feed those bees until the springtime. So let's get this on the hive. Okay, so this is the hive we had looked at. You can see on top of this, all these, looks like stains. This is the cleansing flights. The bees are flying up and they're defecating. They're pooping. They're cleaning their dead out on the ground. This is what bees do when they get a break in the winter to help get that colony nest clean and also keep all the dead bees out. So when you lift this up, we can see we've got a inner cover here. This is happened to be a solid inner cover. We don't typically use these, but we do have a few hives that have them. So I'm going to take this Hive Alive patty. I'm going to put it right over that hole. And so that they can get to that and gives us some extra resources. Put the lid back on and move to the next one. Okay, so the one thing we will not do right now is crack into hives. We will not separate boxes. We will not pull. This inner cover you see here is glued down. That's the propolis that we talk about, that the bees will glue that, seal that hive shut. It's the propolis envelope that's so important that most people forget about. Most people think they want to get in on a warm day like this, crack this open, start pulling a frame or two out to see what they got. We don't do that. We leave it completely sealed shut. This is the only entrance they have up here, and they have one down there. Again, we just cleaned some of the dead bees out down here, but we have the top entrance. This one did not have a feeding shim on it, so we obviously couldn't put fondant in this one, but it's a double deep, so it went in with it a lot of weight, a lot of resources, and I just kind of tipped the back. It still feels like it's very heavy, so it's good to go. This is going to be a strong colony coming out of winter, and we're going to go ahead and close it back up and move to the next one. Okay, so we've moved to a different part of the apiary, and this is a 4-way pallet. You saw the carts. We have several setups here at Bohemia Apiary, some on benches, some on 4-ways, some 5x5s, singles, doubles. These are our 4-way pallets. They do pretty good. You can see this one right here. Just observe all the divots in the ground from all the cleansing flights. This seems like there's going to have bees in both of these. Not really sure. Hopefully, this one looks like maybe it was strong at one point, and then later in the winter it didn't do as well. This one looks like it's weaker because they're not clearing their dead out completely. They were at one point. Maybe a mouse got in there, I don't know. We're going to take a look at it, but we do have bees flying around them, so let's get inside and see what we find. Okay, so this one to the left also was a dead out too, and you can see the cluster down here in the middle. It's about the size of a grapefruit. We talk about that in one of our other videos. When they get to the point to where they just can't maintain the temperature in the hive, it doesn't matter if there's honey all the way around here. If they can't get to it, if they've gotten to the point to where they're not going to leave the brood, if she's still here laying brood or trying to catch back up after the winter solstice, this little cluster of bees is not going to make it. So let's take a look real quick and see what the... Okay, so this is the outside frame of the cluster, and you can see there's a few bees here. There was some brood that started, but doesn't look like it ever continued on. They had some honey down here, and there was some honey on the outside frame over here, which tells me they had some honey nearby, but not enough to maintain. Let's peel the next one and take a look. We just cracked it, and as they started to get to the inside of the cluster, look, they did start to lay brood, okay, right here in a small patch. But look, there's no resources right up on them to continue to, once they cluster tight up in a ball, they're not going to continue to break away to go get those little bits of honey. And that's their dead bees on the bottom. A bigger cluster. See how big? It's about the size of a small baseball. And they just could not. But there's brood underneath. And they started it. Look at all that pollen. All this pollen right here. No carbs. 0 carbs. This was a beekeeper mistake. Didn't get enough weight on me. There's honey right there. Right? There's honey right there, but it's just they did not have enough to maintain. That's a shame. Well, that's beekeeping. We know for next time. And this is just one frame over. I wanted to show this to everyone. This is what I was talking about when I talk about that size of the cluster. There's a half a frame of honey. Full honey. The other side, full of honey. Other frame, full of honey. So they were one frame away from keeping alive. The carbs were there, they just could not get to them, which is a shame. So I can tell you I'll keep referring to that other video where I talk about the baseball-sized cluster. It even holds true in a single. It's not just double deeps that you have that concern with, but singles as well. So let's close up and check these other two. All right, so as you can see, we've got some dead outs. We've got some very strong hives coming out of winter, which is great to have that. You need to have good good strong colonies to make splits early or to start that early honey production, depending on what you determine is your goal for those colonies. So we went along and we're going to leave the dead outs, close them up if they're dead outs. I mean, if they get robbed out, they've probably already been robbed out. But we try to remove them or close them up so they don't create a robbing event here in early spring when the bees don't have anything yet. The nectar flow, pollen flow does not kick in. But the ones that are really strong, we're putting additional fondant on. We're making sure that they have enough resources for the next few weeks to get through the rest of this winter. Let this ice pack melt, and then hopefully we can get into bees here over the next few weeks, and we'll start to make splits. We'll start to talk about things like that we do here to try to grow the apiary back, recover from our losses here. Beekeeping is definitely not for the weak-hearted. They're not pets, they're livestock, and they're very fragile livestock. If you don't know how to take care of bees and you are just learning, you're going to take some losses. So it's okay. It's okay. You will recover. They're good people. Find a mentor in your area. Find a club you can be part of. Follow different content creators on YouTube. But beekeepers, if any beekeeper tells you that there's such thing as no mites and no losses, they're not a real beekeeper, because most beekeepers have losses and have mites. They just know how to manage them. Good beekeepers know how to manage that and how to recover from those losses. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to hopefully do more content this year. Hopefully you've seen our 52 weeks of beekeeping. They're shorts that we're doing. They're not a lot of content, just some quick tips that what you should be doing here on, what we're doing here on the Eastern Shore of Maryland at Bohemia Apiary. And hopefully it's applicable to you. Sometimes the regions are definitely different. Some people are already in a nectar flow down south. So definitely look at finding someone local to you to get some information on how to manage your bees. But if you're just following along and see what we do here and how we manage our bees on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and show the love. Until next time, remember, here at Bohemia Apiary, beekeeping is definitely more than a hobby. It's an obsession. Thanks for watching, everyone.